Now that we've had some practice drawing our items as individual pieces, going from starting with some simple shapes and forms and expanding that into contour, outline, and cross contour drawings, it is time for us to take our candy and group it together into a still life. You're going to need an index card. This is going to become our portable surface. And you're going to need your candy. And some tape. You're going to arrange your candy onto this index card. And when you do that, you don't want to arrange it perfectly. We're not sorting it, so we don't want to just line things up and space things out. We want it to look similar to if you had your items all in one hand and laid them down. What would that look like? And in fact, that might be a good way to start a composition, or I should say a still life arrangement, because we're not to the composition stage yet. Our goal is to have items touch, have items overlap, so that it looks a little more interesting than it would if items were just lined up side by side, not touching, big spaces between them. So I'm going to start placing some items. And I do this from one point of view at first. So what you're seeing from top down is a space between this and the lollipop, but if I had this tilted upwards, I am seeing this item overlapping this item. So keep that in mind. What you're seeing from the camera point of view above my desk is not exactly what I am seeing as I'm arranging my items. Now when I do this, I start placing items. I really have no rhyme or reason to where I place them. I just try to fill in spaces. Think about what I said about wanting things to overlap, touch each other, and so forth. And if from this first point of view I'm liking what's happening, then what I want to do is gently rotate my card. And what I'm looking for is about 3/4 of the way around, finding an interesting look to my composition. I'm allowing 1/4 of your composition to possibly be not the best arrangement of items. Maybe you see a lot of gaps between items in one point of view. Maybe the arrangement of the items when you rotate it just seem a little odd. So at least 3/4 of the view as we rotate this should give you an interesting composition or an interesting layout of items. So if I do like my placement, then I'm going to tape this down. So I'm going to take tape and I'm going to roll the sticky side out. I know sometimes some elementary teachers refer this to as like donuts of tape. And I'm going to start picking up items and tape them to my card. My goal is to not have too much of the tape showing when I am done. And the tape does stick better to some surfaces than others, so keep that in mind. So once I've taped my items down, I'm going to again give it a turn, see if there really is anything that truly bothers me that I would want to change. And if I'm happy with the arrangement, then I'm ready to move on to the next step. If I'm not happy with the arrangement, then I'll want to carefully remove items, reposition them, and tape them down again. This will give us a movable, portable still life. Since our classroom is used by multiple grades, multiple levels, we cannot, unfortunately, keep our still lives out at all times. So to save space, by putting it on the card, I can put it back in my bag, and I most likely won't be able to close my bag back up. And before I do that, I almost forgot, you would want to put your name on your still life. And you can put your period number also. And since I am having a little difficulty with this lollipop, I am going to see if I can create a small enough piece of tape to attach the stick to the Smarties back there. Again, I don't want my tape to be really visible in this still life, so I try to hide it as much as possible. If it does end up visible, then I just try to ignore it, and yeah, that's not going to work. This tape is not the greatest. This is not very good at sticking to itself when you roll it. My next option would be, since these are individually wrapped, is if I can't get the tape to work to stick this down where I need it, then my next option would probably be a little bit of glue to see if that would work and getting it to stay in position. Yeah, so that's not going to work. All right, so I'll either have to add a little dot of glue back there to keep that from moving, which I think I can do that right now. Again, just a small amount. So I don't want the glue to show up either. And if you don't want to add a small touch of glue to your items, then just be prepared that if things do move because they didn't tape down too well, you'll just rearrange it, reposition it as close as you can each day you have to get this out. But with your name on your card, you want to slide this into your storage bag, and then this would go in the cell phone storage area, your little unit there. And when each day for class, you'll go back, take it out, remove it from the bag, get it in position, and then return it each day. But that's how we're going to create a movable still life, so that it can easily be put away and brought back to our table each day.